Okay, so I recently got this really awesome model from Oxide. Wow, I am in love with this thing. Absolutely in love with it. It is such a badass car. I love the little subtle touches to it. I think it's, shit, I'm gonna be bad with the year here. I think it's a 64 Impala, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, But I love the 70 Chevelle grille and front bumper. It just, it surprisingly fits. It really does. I think that's a Chevelle hood too, but I could be wrong. Because it has no, that might be an Impala grille actually. But I like the smashed hinges, and this does still hinge. There's also that detail that I love, that the car was once yellow. Like, you can see that it was once painted yellow, and they just painted over it with gray. Like, that is the coolest shit ever. I really dig it. I think it's really cool. Okay, for the video, that little jump there probably seemed like half a second, but that was actually an hour and a half ago. Because, uh, yeah, having some difficulties here with trying to get some peace and quiet for a video. Anyway, back onto this. I completely forgot what I was saying. I love this thing. I love the exhaust mounted on the side, down to things like the little searchlight up top. And there's also like kind of quirky things where I'm just like, why is that on there? Where it's just like the windshield wiper. Like, there's no windows. Like, why? I love it. It is such a weird thing, but I dig it. I also really like the stance on it. It's not too low and it's not too high. It's like perfect ride height for this thing. Got those weird 3 taillights, or 6 taillights that Impalas had at that time. Those are really strange looking. I mean, they're cool, but very weird. Got the toolbox in the back of the car. My only issue with this car is the toolbox. I just don't imagine at high speeds that this thing's gonna sit. Imagine you hit a bump and the thing just right out of the back. Unless it was like magnetized or something, I have no idea. I see him with that battery in the back though. That huge freaking battery besides that battery. Those are massive. And I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty confident that these holes aren't bullet holes. They're for the trim. If you notice, chrome trim on this side, no chrome trim on that side, and I think that's what he was going for, because I remember my El Camino, when the trim was taken off, had small holes like that for it to go into. I think that's what he was going for, and I think he got it pretty good, if that's what he was going for. The door here is kind of broken. I think that's really cool. Dented roof. Not sure how the hell that happens, but it happens. I think it's really cool. Let me show the chassis. Come on, baby. There we go. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I dig it. I think I might give this car to my character, Liz. Or Ranger, as she likes to be called. I feel like she'd drive something like this. She's a character that meets Mike. She's in a dystopian future. And she's very, very hostile. At first, she's aiming a gun at him the entire time. She's like, what kind of idiot drives around in a DeLorean at these times? Like, because things are, like, really, like, bad and everything. And she actually turns out being, like, one of, like, the nicer characters. It's just, like, the world that she lives in made her so aggressive and everything. But she turns around eventually and actually becomes friends with him. Which is pretty cool. They start off really rough, to say the least. What else have I been working on? Well, I got that from Oxide. That's really awesome. I'm also really tired. it's close to 1 a.m. Here's the Ford Raptor Snap Tight by Revell, which is pretty cool. I really love these. Don't sleep on snap kits, by the way. This one's kind of simple. The only thing I don't like is the chassis on this one, but the interior is beautiful, and the truck mold itself is absolutely phenomenal. Beautiful, beautiful mold of the Ford Raptor. So don't sleep on these. They are really, really awesome. What I did is I used some Tamiya weathering kits all over the tires and all over the side of the truck and on the front. It's kind of hard to show up, but in person it looks a lot better. It's also a lot darker too, especially all the dirt. I put all that on and then I sprayed it with hairspray to keep it all in place, and I think it turned out pretty good. So it's got the hairspray on there, so you could do that and not worry about it rubbing off or anything. So yeah, it works good. So it was just something small that I threw together that I did. I mean, I've had it built for a while, but I lost the tires, and I finally found them again, and I finally managed to put them back on the truck. I don't know how those wheels and tires went missing with the axles and everything, but I finally found them. What else did I do? Oh, I've customized the DeLorean. This is that Aoshima DeLorean. I ripped it apart to kind of see what I had, because the thing was just kind of like, I got it off of someone online like months and months ago, and it was just sitting the way it was. I put the kit scanner on it, and it was having a problem standing up. The tires were like moving up, or like moving in such weird ways, and I didn't know what the hell was going on with that, but I finally fixed it. The wheels were coming loose. That was the issue. I ripped the thing apart, did more detail to the interior, painted the wires a different color. They were just silver, and they looked really shitty. I'm still not happy about the little black piece of glass there, but whatever, I'm just going to have to live with it. I did the bullet holes, the dents, and I think it looks pretty damn good. It's just so freaking cool looking. I love the DeLorean. Same one that my Circle uses. He uses the damaged one. His gets utterly fucked. He destroys this car more than any of his other vehicles. Like, holy shit, does this thing get screwed up. I think, like, he's smashed it like 50 times, and it doesn't matter. The thing gets flipped over all the time, blown up, and all he does is just go like, and the thing's back to normal. Just rebuilds itself in seconds. This car actually has that ability that it'll reset faster than any of his other vehicles will. But anyway, the big thing that changed about the car is, yeah, finally got them. That is awesome. Spencer 1984 did these, custom printed them for me, which was super, super cool of him. Seriously, check out his channel, watch his videos, subscribe to him. He is really, really awesome for making these. That is amazing. So that definitely changed this car dramatically. Sorry about that. My throat. Ugh, I need to get something to drink. You know, what's another thing that I did? It's kind of a small car, but, maybe you might have heard of it. I mean, I've had it in my stash for a while, just kind of sitting, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to build it. I might just keep it in its box. I don't really want to do this thing. I painted it at one point, and I was just like, nah, I think I'm good. I don't think I'm going to build it. But I finally came around to it. And, maybe you heard about this car. I don't know. But, yeah, the Road Warrior Interceptor. I finally did it. I finally came around to it. And I did it. I didn't think that I would, but I finally did it. It's not a perfect model by any means. I got that thing on the dashboard, the shifter. I did kind of screw up the glass a little bit, trying to make it look more like how it is in the movie, but nothing really I can do about that. I must have paused and rewind the movie at least 50 times. Thank God Google Play Movies are easy to do that with. Because holy shit, I was trying to get references for the side of the vehicle and the weathering so much. The problem with the Interceptor from Mad Max, the Road Warrior, is I don't think they did what Vanishing Point, the remake, did. Vanishing Point, in at least the 1990s remake, sprayed the car down with a mixture of potting soil and coffee. And after that, they sprayed the cars with hairspray to keep all that in place. So between shots, the car would look the same, even if it's a completely different Dodge Challenger doing the stunts. The Road Warrior car, I don't think they did that. I think they only had 2 interceptors behind the scenes, and they did not do that because seemingly between shots, the car gets dirtier and cleaner between different scenes. So I'm confident that they did not do anything like that, and they were just rolling with it, depending on how dirty the car got, and didn't really pay much attention to it. But I tried to make it look like much later on, or not much later on, but after the first scene, after the front, the Concorde front end got smashed up and everything. The scenes that I used for reference were mostly the gyro captain meeting scene, and when he's pulling up to the gate with the injured guy, and the guy's just like, when they get taken into the compound, and he's like, one of the last of the V8 interceptors. These things are history. Would have been a shame to blow it up. Like, that scene I must have rewatched like 50 freaking times to get a reference of how the tanks were weathered, and oh my god. So yeah, I custom built a front end, just a piece of styrene that goes across, radiator off of a different kit. I think that's off of a 69 Charger. The headlights are actually the headlights from the kit, but I cut them down because they have pieces that are supposed to extend to the housing of the headlights, where the headlight covers go, of the Concorde front end. But you can cut them off, and then after they're kind of like shaped like a half circle kind of thing where you insert these pieces of glass, and I just sanded the ends and then stuck them onto the styrene, and I used some styrene tubes to build this. But this whole bottom part here is actually from the kit. This is supposed to connect up with the whole front end and everything, but if you do the Road Warrior version, you could have it just like that. And I didn't really use my Dremel tool for cutting up the front end. What I did was I just used a styrene cutter and cut from up here and just snapped everything off, and I cut here and I cut here and just kind of pulled it off and cut with some more like scissors and the styrene cutter, and I think it worked out pretty good. Kind of gives that more smashed look to it. But I really dig this kit. I really wish that other model makers would make the Mad Max Interceptor. You'd think they would because of how popular the car is, but surprisingly, I don't know why, but Australian cars seem to really get shoved under the bus when it comes to model kits. There's been a couple I've seen, and I'm considering on buying one, but I'm not 100% sure yet. There's an Australian diecast company, kind of like They're kind of like Franklin Mint, I guess, of Australia. And they have a Chrysler Valiant Charger with the Hemi inline, which is like one of those cars that I really love. I really freaking love the Chrysler Valiant Charger. Just such a cool car. It's so unique. If you're a big fan of American Chargers like I am, looking at that thing, you're like, what the fuck is this thing? And I love it. I absolutely love that car. And I would love to have it in my collection. So I'm considering it. There's a couple on eBay. There's a purple one, which I'm considering, because I love me some purple Mopars. So, purple or pink Mopars. I really like a pink Charger. But yeah, I'm definitely considering getting one of them. Eventually. Not anytime soon, but I did the back. Kind of a bummer. I lost a couple of taillights, and one of the taillights broke. But I guess it gives it more of a wasteland look. I do have all the jerry cans still. Whoa, there it goes. Still removable. Apparently these tanks in the back are off of Australian school bus. Not 100% sure, but that's what I've heard behind the scenes. That's what they got them from. Mine does not have the correct rear wheels, by the way, because this is not the later kit, which had the better interior or anything. This is actually the first released kit. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, just one of those things that I wanted to throw together. Big pains in the ass with this kit. Those little hood pins for opening the hood. Pain in the ass. Also, mirror. Pain in the ass. So, yeah. I actually custom built that whole roof, that whole rack in the back with the tire. It's made out of styrene, as you could. No, not made out of styrene, made out of mesh, as you could see. Because the one in the kit is awful. Oh, so that roll bar there, that's off of a General Lee. So it's got parts, literally a piece from here and a piece from there. Literally, because it's got charger parts and stuff like that. So, yeah, let me go ahead and get this guy out of the way. And bring in the star of the show. So, yep, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys next time, and yeah, have a good one.